What are the benefits of using a company like ours to secure online platforms?
So the benefits to other businesses is that you're working with a company that specializes in that area.
Mhm.
It's what they do every day. It's what they know inside out. And so you can rest assured that companies who primarily focus on this specific area, that they can best serve you to ensure that your business needs are met, and that whatever platforms and solutions that you're getting in the end, it's coming from someone who is highly qualified and experienced in the area.
Welcome to Tech Talk. My name is Ruth Ann Samuels, the Business Development and Project Management Associate here at Niritech Digital Services, a software consultancy agency that develops and maintains custom digital solutions. Each episode, we talk with various professionals in the technology industry and share valuable information geared towards enhancing your organization's digital transformation and evolution. Please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell below to ensure that you never miss an episode. No business with an online presence is immune to cyber attack, and the financial, physical, and legal implications can be devastating. Today, we will talk to Mr. Gavin Dennis, cybersecurity consultant and director at G5 Cybersecurity, on the topic of cybersecurity. So welcome, Mr. Dennis, to our second episode of Tech Talk. It's good to have you here. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's just get started. So, Gavin, your career initially started in the field of financial audit. Could you tell us what inspired you to go into the field of cybersecurity?
So I always had a passion for IT,
Mm-hmm.
but in high school I pursued accounting and business. After about 5 years working in the accounting and audit field and seeing how real IT works, I decided to pursue the thing that I was passionate about. So in high school, I was studying it in school, studying accounting and business in school. But when I went home, I was, messing around with computers and really having that as like a hobby. And then, once I entered the corporate world, I got firsthand experience of what real IT looks like, so that it was beyond just using computers and fixing computers and that type of thing, and really seeing how it's used to support business and to make money. And I decided to make that jump after about 5 years working in accounting/auditing.
That's great. And I know that you're passionate about cybersecurity and you've worked in the field both locally and internationally. So, could you elaborate on your work and the impact created as a result?
So in Jamaica, I worked for a consulting company
Mm-hmm.
where we supported other local companies and a few businesses across the Caribbean. Then I left Jamaica about 2 years ago
Mm-hmm.
and supported a company here in Germany called P3 Communications. And from there, I traveled to physically travel. This was before Corona. Traveled to support other companies across the world with cybersecurity. So doing things like penetration testing, vulnerability assessments. So really helping companies to identify systems on their network which are vulnerable and guiding them on how they can resolve those vulnerabilities so they don't get hacked.
Yes. And what has your experience been like in Germany so far?
So far it's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
The quality of life is great.
Yes.
Crime is very low, and then the support in terms of developing yourself professionally,
Mm-hmm.
it's very good. So you have support from the government in certain areas. Things like getting loans for school education and that type of thing is very easy. So it puts a lot of things in easy reach,
Mm-hmm.
when you're trying to develop yourself. Also, jobs, there are lots of cybersecurity jobs in Germany and Europe. So it's easy for you to decide to leave one company if you don't think that company is still a good fit, and to
Yes.
find another job. So the opportunities are abundant here, and it just makes it easier for you to develop professionally.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, that's great. And I'm happy that you're making an impact both in Jamaica and in Germany. And I must say that even though you're in Germany, your presence is still so great in Jamaica. There's been a lot of there's been a lot of conversations re cybersecurity and data privacy, re the breaches with the Jam COVID-19 website, and I see that you've been sharing your feedback on so many interviews to include was it TVJ? I think you did some articles as well, so your presence is here as well, even though you're in Germany. So I would love for you to share your thoughts on the recent happenings.
So what happened recently, which took over the news, is that the Jam COVID app and website was found to be disclosing data that it should not be disclosing.
Yes.
An international reporter called Zach Whitaker highlighted the story on the TechCrunch blog. And from there, it really just took off in the international media because TechCrunch has a very large following. And then the way how the disclosure, the breach was handled by the government, that caused the issue to also spiral out of proportion. So
Yes.
it blew up and had a lot of international attention on it. So lots of persons' personal information was disclosed.
Definitely.
And from there, there was a very high concern across the public around, why it happened, what's being done to resolve it. That was identified relating to the same Jam COVID site. So it really sparked a lot of awareness and discussion, across
Yes.
the country and internationally around why data privacy and protecting data is important.
Yes, definitely. And I would love to mention that I believe that the increase in awareness is very good. I believe that Jamaicans are more, aware of how data privacy can really affect them. Data breaches can really affect them. So that increase in awareness is very good. So, Gavin, when persons hear about cybersecurity, they usually think of protecting their computers from unauthorized access. But it's more than that. We both know that it's more than that. So, what are some of the major misconceptions of cybersecurity?
So within cybersecurity, one of the top things is the perception of ethical hackers, or just the practice of hacking, aka penetration testing. So ethical hacking and penetration testing are the same thing. It's penetration testing is really just the more commercial term for ethical hacking.
Yes.
So there are persons who get paid to identify vulnerabilities within systems. So they are responsible for testing those systems, so challenging the security of those systems to identify, loopholes that could be exploited. And there are companies who hire these people, and they are considered as penetration testers. Apart from that, there are just normal people out there who have the same type of skills, but they are not being contracted by a company, and they are out there. If they identify vulnerabilities, they often try to report it, and this is on the good side of the fence. So they try to report it to the company and for the company to resolve it. And that's sort of what happened in the case of the Jam COVID thing. Someone identified a security vulnerability, they were doing research, identified a security vulnerability, reported it, and it was fixed, and then the news article was published.
Yes.
So primarily, a misconception is that anything related to hacking is bad, and that's not true. So there's a good side of it where
Ethical.
it's done in a responsible way, and then there's the other side where there are persons out there who are trying to cause others harm,
Yes.
whether to businesses or to persons, by infecting people's systems, stealing data, that type of thing. So there's just a general misconception that it is all bad, and it's not.
All right, so here at Niritech Digital Services, we build custom software applications that may have an e-commerce component, and that allows persons to make payments and transactions online. So for persons who are looking to integrate e-commerce into their business model, what common cyber e-commerce, what common cybersecurity threats may occur?
Well, when you start to involve money and payment processing, then you start to have the risk of people's personal data being stolen, or people losing money from their account due to some type of unauthorized access, whether directly to their account as the individual, or the company itself that provides those services is breached. So from the personal side, people have to ensure that they are using strong passwords on their accounts. They are taking advantage of the available security options that are given to them as a user. One of those common security features is called multi-factor authentication, two-factor/multi-factor authentication, where in addition to your password, you can force your account to require something additional so that it's harder for someone to get in. And sometimes this can be with a hardware token that generates a code that changes every 30 seconds, or a software token that's the same thing, or it can even be biometrics, where you use your fingerprint after you put in your username and password, you use your fingerprint. So people have to ensure that their devices are protected, because even though a company is providing them with a secure solution, they can also contribute to their own compromise. So using strong passwords, ensuring that your devices are safe, and that the businesses that are doing they are doing business with are also taking responsible steps to protect the systems that they're using.
Yes, which is very important. I believe even with COVID-19, the pandemic happening right now, the rate of transactions, online transactions, has really been increased. And even NCB here, they have put a lot of measures in place. You mentioned token. They have put a lot of measures in place to make sure that persons are secure when they're doing online transactions and payments. So yes, I agree. Thank you for sharing those points. All right, so there has also been a lot of website compromises as well, with all the recent happenings. And here at Niritech, implementing an SSL, a secure sockets layer certificate, is one of the first steps we take to ensure that our website is secure. So what are some other common best practices for website security?
So a lot of websites now tend to use CMS platforms like WordPress.
Yes.
And in that area, there are some common things that people should do. So one of those things is to keep all plugins and any components that's being used to power those websites, to keep them up to date, because outdated components have vulnerabilities, and vulnerabilities can be exploited. So it's important to ensure that whatever platform your website is running on, that the components that it's using, you're keeping them up to date, and ensuring that any software updates which are available, you implement them. Additionally, get professional help. So a lot of businesses, they might not have the expertise themselves to do the security assessments, because that's just not the core of what they do. They provide some other type of service. So it's good to consult people and businesses who specialize in that area and can assist you to either identify the vulnerabilities and guide you on how you can resolve them so that your systems remain secure. Additionally, for websites, there are several guides out there which talk about website security, such as the OWASP Application Security Verification Standard, the OWASP Web Security Testing Guides, and these guides can help to help companies just have a structured path about how they go about implementing security. So it tells them exactly what are the different steps they can take and why they are doing it, what's the benefit, and really how to do it. So use a guide and use people who are specialists in that area to give you really professional support.
Professional support in security and in software development. Yes, and as you mentioned, guidance, it's important to have guidance. A lot of persons try to implement these solutions themselves sometimes, and that can lead to poor security for their platforms. So how can poor cybersecurity impact organizations and their business credibility?
So oftentimes when companies have a security breach, it leads to people losing confidence in the business. And
Yes.
then the side effect of that primary factor is that the business loses money. It can be either in the form of stock prices falling, customers deciding to go to another competitor because they don't believe that their data is safe. They're afraid to use their credit cards. They're afraid to submit their personal data. So in the end result is that businesses lose money as a result of that. Now, when the breaches happen and they start to lose money, because people are losing confidence, they also now have to spend a lot more money to regain their confidence. And that can be in the form of marketing, providing special deals, trying to stop their customers, or who were their customers, from permanently going to a competitor.
Yes.
So the end result is that they lose money, and businesses exist to make money, whether it is to make a profit, or even for non-profits to make a surplus so that they can fulfill their goals. But in the end, the result is that their bottom line is affected financially.
Yes. And their reputation is damaged, which is a big
Yes.
thing. Yes. And also, I think it can lead to lawsuits as well. Would you say?
Yes, so there are certain laws which have been created, such as GDPR, and now there's a Data Protection Act.
Yes.
And what the effect of a lot of those, the effect is that the companies can incur fines. So companies can be fined for these things, and wherever they are likely negligent, you'll have persons who will try to sue the company based on whatever damage, a data breach or some type of negligence caused. So yeah, so businesses are a lot more susceptible to lawsuits and fines now, and in some cases, you have prison time that's on the table. So yeah, the laws are being created now right across the world for multiple countries to ensure that businesses do not abuse people's personal data.
Yes, which is very good. And as you mentioned, I really believe that these implications of poor cybersecurity are devastating. So it's very good to ensure that we're ensuring that we stay safe as it relates to doing our platforms and anything to do with online transactions. So my last question is, what are the benefits of using a company like ours to secure online platforms? You mentioned about having guidance, which is very important when you're trying to implement a solution. So what are the benefits?
So the benefits to other businesses is that you're working with a company that specializes in that area. It's what they do every day. It's what they know inside out. And so you can rest assured that companies who primarily focus on this specific area, that they can best serve you to ensure that your business needs are met, and that whatever platforms and solutions that you're getting in the end, it's coming from someone who is highly qualified and experienced in the area.
Yes, thank you, Gavin. So thank you once again for participating in our Tech Talk. So for those who are trying or would love to get in touch with you, is there any information that you'd love to share?
Yes, so I can be easily reached online. You could visit my website at gavindennis.com and contact me. Visit the contact page and you'll see my email address there. Also, you can reach me through social media. So on Twitter, it's at Hacking Gavin. On Instagram, my handle is Hacking Gavin. On LinkedIn, it's Gavin Dennis, and you should be able to spot the face once you search. And also on Facebook, I believe the handle is Gavin Dennis Consultant.
Okay.
So so you can reach me right across Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook.
Yes.
And also through my website.
All right, Gavin. So thank you so much again for being here. Thank you for taking the time out to answer these very timely and important questions.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and I wish you all the best on your future endeavors.
You too, Rutan.
Whether you're thinking of developing a custom software application, a website, or an e-commerce solution, here at Niritech Digital Services, we ensure that we put the necessary strategies in place to ensure that your platform is safe and secure. Complete the form in the description below so that we can get you started today. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And follow us at We Are Niritech on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.